Hello, I'm Dr. Ian McCullough from Johns Hopkins University, and in this session, I'm going to walk you through a demo of an agentic AI tool that we built in the Epic sandbox for demonstrating some agentic AI concepts. What you will see is a live patient encounter and the AI that documents it automatically, and then the underlying architecture underneath. This is an Epic style sandbox, the interface a clinician works in, and it mirrors the Epic environment that is used in many places across the US and other regions around the world. Along the top and side, you have the main navigation menu, and we have this open to the patient record. So what you see in front of you is the patient list, which is pulled from a FHIR FHIR dataset. All of this is de-identified mock patient data, so there is no real public health information here to be concerned with. Only a sample is shown here on screen. The actual data set has close to 1,000 patients. So this is what a patient record looks like. You can see along the left-hand side different chart information, and we're showing allergies right now. We can see that they're allergic to shellfish. So here is the chart review and previous encounters that the patient has had with a physician. Here are the problem descriptions and the resolved problems that a patient has right now. Here is the medication history. You can see what medications are active right now, which ones have been used in the past. And here are the labs that the patient has completed. And here are the vitals of the patient. Here's the demographics of the patient. So now I'm going to take you through the AI feature that we have created. For example, this is one of the features called live consultation. This AI feature is built on top of the patient chart, and it lets the user run a real-time patient encounter. The AI physician conducts the intake conversation. The moment the conversation ends, it produces a structured clinical note, a medical decision-making or MDM classification, and a proposed chart update. The goal is to capture the patient encounter at the point of care without the clinician having to stop and document everything by hand or needing to catch up on charting hours after the patient encounter when memory might be degraded. There are two ways to interface with this application. The clinician can speak with the AI live or chat with it. I will start the application and read the clinician's part while my colleague Sparsh shall play the role of the patient. So I begin by clicking on New Consultation. Hello, Adolfo. It is nice to meet you. What brings you in today? Could you tell me about your main concern?
Chest pain.
I'm sorry to hear that, Adolfo. Can you tell me when the chest pain started?
3 days back.
Thank you for sharing that. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate your chest pain?
9.
I understand your pain feels very severe. Could you describe the nature of the chest pain? Is it sharp, dull, burning, or something else?
It's dull.
Thank you for describing the pain, Adolfo. Does the pain radiate to any other part of your body, like your arm, neck, or jaw?
Arm and my lower part of throat.
Thank you for that information, Adolfo. Are there any other activities or positions that make the chest pain better or worse?
Working out.
Thank you for letting me know, Adolfo. Are there any other symptoms you are experiencing along with your chest pain, such as shortness of breath, sweating, or nausea?
Shortness of breath.
Thank you for sharing that, Adolfo. Do you have any allergies or are you currently taking any medications?
I am having any allergy to shellfish.
Thank you. I have all the information I need. Let me update your chart now. So here you can see that the AI application automatically ends the conversation without me having to click on any button or do anything, and it begins to generate the clinical note in a structured format using SOAP. So as you can see, there is one agent that generates the SOAP notes, and there is another agent that generates an EM code recommendation, and there's a third agent that reviews the SOAP and EM codes, which is an LLM as a judge. So here is the SOAP or SOAP clinical note. SOAP stands for Subjective, Objective, Assessment, and Plan. Everything that the patient described is captured in real time at the point of care. So here you can see that the subjective is patient presents with chest pain, and that started 3 days ago, and he rates the pain as extremely severe, 9 out of 10, and describes it as dull. The pain radiates to his arm and lower part of his throat. It worsens with physical activity, such as working out. He also experiences shortness of breath. The patient reports an allergy of shellfish. So as we can see here, there is no objective findings referenced in the transcript. Had we had some lab reports or imagery, or had we done a physical exam, then we might have an objective finding. For assessment, the patient presents with symptoms suggesting possible cardiac-related chest pain given the severity, radiation, and shortness of breath. Now, for the plan, further evaluation is necessary to rule out cardiac causes. Recommend immediate ECG and cardiac enzyme tests. Also, advise the patient to avoid strenuous activities until further assessment, and have a follow-up appointment scheduled, based on the test results that come back. And now we have another agent run that suggests an EM code. And so this encounter results in a classification of a 99285, which is a high MDM code. So if we go to Google and search for this code, 99285, in Google, you will see the CPT code that is representing the highest level of emergency department evaluation and management services. It also shows the requirements for this code that are required, right, of comprehensive history, comprehensive examination, and high complexity in medical decision making. And that includes extensive diagnostic testing, interpretation, labs, imaging, etc. Here you can see when it is used. It's used for acute myocardial infarction or heart attack, or a severe respiratory distress, or something like that. So given the cardiac issues, that's why there is a high MDM assessment. So the system shows all three MDM elements, the associated rating, and right below it, the confidence level of that. All three have very high 100% confidence, and then it gives you the criterion for that decision. The high MDM rating is based on the highest 2 out of 3 elements, which in this case results in high. So this has been assessed according to American Medical Association CPT guidelines from 2023. So we see 2 recommended chart updates. One is for the chest pain encounter. The other one is for the shellfish allergy update. So here is the ICD-10 diagnosis code. That is R07.9, which is chest pain, unspecified. And then the confidence is also high. So this clinician review here is a human in the loop where the physician is going to check the code is accurate and then add any additional codes that needs to be made. So this system acts more as a recommendation system than it is a decision-making system. And so here you see the medical decision-making code recommendation. Here we've clicked moderate, and then there's a rationale for why that decision is made based on the capturing of the SOAP notes. And then you can see that the resulting EMD code is there, and the physician has the ability to adjust these radio buttons or adjust to a different EM code before they click and confirm and commit the card to the chart. So if I now go and update the list, here it is. The chest pain unspecified is active, and then here is the date in which we observed. We also see that the shellfish allergy was already there, so there's no new update. And so here we see that there is a new virtual conversation. We see the MDM code, the update, so anybody can go in here and easily check and verify the information, the rationale, and the notes that support it. Now let's look at the N8N workflow. We select the Epic live consultation, and we can see what the workflow looks like. Let's see how this is built in N8N. The workflow uses a two-agent model. The first is an agent that conducts the patient conversation. The second agent acts as an LLM as a judge. It generates the SOAP notes, assigns the MDM code, and evaluates the output for accuracy. Let's start with the virtual doctor. I'll zoom in for better display. When any text request is made through the front end, it comes here. Then the data moves to prepare context. This prepares all of the patient details. This then transfers to the LLM or GPT model we're using. You can see the prompt here. You are a compassionate, efficient, agentic clinician assistant acting as a virtual doctor conducting a patient intake. Your goals are to ask about their chief complaint, follow up with targeted clinical questions, onset, duration, severity, character, radiation, and all of the questions you might ask during a visit. We've also asked for JSON as an output, which is a format we use in any of the backend systems so that it can be passed along. Another workflow is list panels. So this is what displays the workflow selection in the panel for the user to select. For example, when you go to the left-hand side, you see live consultation. This is what allows the user to select the workflow. Next is the workflow for generate clinical notes. This is what allows us to generate the SOAP or SOAP notes, which is prepare the transcript, generate SOAP with an LLM, and again, we use a prompt to help us generate the note. We then extract the notes and pass them to an LLM as a judge to check faithfulness and ground the LLM. The LLM is verifying the accuracy and audits the note. We then parse the output and pass to another LLM to score the EM code. You will see that there are two of these notes. The first scores the encounter across the three axes in the MDM guidelines. The prompt says we are using the 2023 AMA guidelines, so we are defining the scoring logic here. The second node defines the citations that are necessary to support the assessment. After that, we verify and reconcile, then we convert it to HTML to display it for the user. And finally, we respond to the front end. For the next workflow, we extract chart updates, prepare a transcript, and then update the chart using an LLM. Then we review ICD and MDM codes. We again prepare a transcript and then use an LLM to extract the correct codes. Next, we record the coding decisions, whether they are correct or not. Finally, we record the metrics for decisions such as confidence level. It's important to note that nothing is written into the chart automatically and that can easily be verified visually in the N8N workflow. So this brings together the full workflow of a live patient encounter, automatic documentation, a transparent decision-making trail, and a clinician who stays firmly in control. I'm Dr. Ian McCullough from Johns Hopkins University.